The movie starts in a store where Jimmy works as a salesman. He's a good-looking young man who enjoys flirting with pretty girls and is very good at selling things. He dances and sings to convince girls to buy products. All the girls admire him and his style, including his boss's wife. She likes him a lot and they start a secret relationship in the storage room. One day, her husband catches them together and punches Jimmy in the nose, making it bleed. But Jimmy isn't bothered. He goes outside and starts flirting with another girl. Because of this, his boss fires him from his job. Jimmy came home to his family's dinner, feeling disappointed. His brother Josh laughed at him, but Jimmy told them he planned to become a pharmaceutical salesperson to earn more money, despite their advice against it. He got an interview at a company called Fair, which celebrated by launching new medical pills. Jimmy got selected for a 6-week training with others. On his first day at work, Jimmy, known for his charm, flirted with several girls and got tips on selling from his new friend Bruce. They drove to a hospital to sell medicine, but the doctors showed no interest at first. Undeterred, they returned the next day and waited to meet the doctors. Jimmy mistook one for a girl named Lisa, but Bruce corrected him. Eventually, Jimmy's charm caught her attention. They observe another salesman, Trey, who effortlessly sells his medications at the hospital. Inspired by Trey's success, Bruce encourages Jimmy to aim for a promotion by boosting sales. Jimmy manages to impress a receptionist and sneak Trey's medication samples away, leading to the receptionist falling for him. He continues this tactic for days, gradually gaining traction with his product despite not meeting his sales goal. At a bar, Jimmy and Bruce witness Trey selling drugs to Dr. Knight, who buys them regularly. Jimmy bribes Dr. Knight with $1,000 as a gift from his company, persuading him to help sell their medicines in the hospital. Dr. Knight agrees, introducing Jimmy as a trainee and allowing him to interact with patients. He meets Maggie, a patient with Parkinson's disease, and discusses their medication options. Jimmy promotes his company's product for its fewer side effects, impressing Maggie despite an awkward encounter over a mistaken diagnosis. Later, Jimmy arranges medicines in his car when Maggie confronts him, realizing he's not a trainee, and punches him for staring at her chest. He apologizes and explains himself.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize on behalf of all the arrogant, faceless, cut-off asshole doctors out there who've treated you like a non-person while peeking at your breasts. So what's your name?
Then successfully gets Maggie's phone number through the receptionist. Meanwhile, Josh seeks refuge at Jimmy's house after a breakup due to his addiction to online pornography. Jimmy and Maggie eventually meet for coffee, where Jimmy apologizes again and compliments her, leading to a casual relationship to relieve Maggie's pain from her illness. Despite developing feelings for Maggie, Jimmy respects her wishes to keep the relationship non-committal due to her health. He continues to sell medicine at the hospital while navigating his newfound emotions for Maggie. One day, while throwing Trey's medication in the trash, Trey saw it and punched him. Jimmy tried to hit him, but his hands hurt. Trey asked Jimmy to stay away from Maggie. The beggar comes and takes the medicine. Jimmy goes to the hospital to put the medicine on, but the receptionists stop him. Apparently, Trey bribed them. Jimmy is upset by this and goes to see Maggie with some snacks. Maggie realizes that Jimmy loves her, so she tells him it won't work. She told him that she had been in a relationship before and it did not end well after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Jimmy asked her if her ex-boyfriend was Trey. She said yes, but she doesn't love him now.
Are you in love with him?
No, I'm not in love with Trey Hannigan. I was never in love with Trey Hannigan. He said he was in love with me. Which was, a problem.
The next day, Maggie tried to open the snack cap, but her hand shook so badly she couldn't get it off. After that, Jimmy went to work with Bruce and Josh. The company will launch a new drug called Viagra, which is used for prolonged sex. Jimmy was very happy with the new product. At one of the parties, Jimmy met Dr. Knight and he learned that Maggie's disorder was very serious. He called her and tried to express his love to her, but she hung up the phone. After that, Jimmy went to meet Maggie. Maggie takes some elderly people to Canada to receive treatment. Jimmy arrived and told her that he wanted to talk to her. She told him she would be back late at night and left. At night, Jimmy comes to Maggie's house and waits for her all night. She returned home in the morning and was upset when she found out that Jimmy was waiting for her. Maggie seems to love him, but she regrets it because of her illness. Jimmy and Bruce launched their new drug Viagra. Indeed, the product has been a great success. Even in the news, they started talking about Viagra. Doctors who refused their medications bought them voluntarily. The company where Jimmy works became famous and Jimmy became rich. On the other hand, Jimmy's relationship with Maggie developed. Maggie still regrets her love for him. They spent the whole night together one night. He told her that he really loved her and that he had never told anyone about it. Maggie didn't know what to answer. Jimmy came home to find his brother masturbating. Day by day, Maggie's disorder becomes serious. Jimmy realized this and began talking with Dr. Knight to find a way to treat Maggie. Jimmy told her he loved her and wanted to treat her. Maggie screams at him and tells him that he is a bad person. Jimmy takes her to a conference where all the people with Parkinson's disorder come together. There, she meets many people more miserable than her, and they live happy and wonderful lives. She realized that she could also have a happy life. She apologized to Jimmy and agreed to receive treatment to reduce the effects. She also told him that she loved him.
I've been such a bitch to you.
Oh.
And you didn't even run away. How's that possible? It's like, this is like the first time in my life that I've ever not felt alone. That someone is there for me. Do you know what that means? Oh my God. I love you. I love you. I really love you.
Since that day, Jimmy started taking Maggie to different hospitals in different countries, and specialist doctors performed various treatments to make her feel better. Days passed and she continued to receive treatment. Jimmy stopped working and turned his full focus to Maggie. Suddenly, his credit card was declined, his bank balance became very low, and he became very desperate to fix it. He also did not care about his work and promotion. This made Maggie feel guilty. She thought it was all her fault, and decided to leave Jimmy so he could get his promotion and a better life. She asked him to leave her house. Days passed and they both felt miserable and missed each other and cried a lot. Jimmy tried to call her, but she didn't answer. Josh tried to make Jimmy feel better but failed. Dr. Knight invites Jimmy to his party. Jimmy refused, but Josh forced him and they went there. He receives a message saying that he received a promotion to Chicago.
Chicago. I got it.
Congratulations, that is unbelievable.
Several days later, Jimmy met Maggie in a restaurant. They both didn't have the words to speak. They smiled at each other and Maggie tried to leave the place. Bruce came and told Jimmy about his new job in Chicago. Maggie congratulated him and left. Jimmy packed his things to move to Chicago. While packing, he found a video camera they used to record happy times. Then he went to Maggie's house and found out she was going to Canada by bus. He chased the bus and stopped it. Maggie said she didn't want to talk, but Jimmy asked for just 5 minutes. He confessed everything and said he loved her. She tried to hide her feelings but couldn't. They hugged on the road and decided to live together. She wasn't worried about her illness anymore. Jimmy quit his job in Chicago and chose to live with Maggie. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.